welcome back. We're going to do a different install today on the Jeep. This time it's going to have to do with the back compartment locking storage system. So pretty much it's going to replace everything that's going to be right here. It'll have its own little flip up system just kind of like that, and I'll kind of show you how it installs into the Jeep here. So everything's straightforward when you get it out of the box. You have your keys, your brackets, nuts and washers, bolts, and then of course the main piece to the whole system. So there is an instruction here. It is a very good guide to go off of. Those of you that actually need some kind of visual video assistance to see hands-on how it's done, that's kind of why I'm taking a video of this to show it. So the first piece of the puzzle goes in. So this next step's pretty easy. You're going to take these two pieces, kind of guide them under. You'll leave the part down, and the other you're going to kind of tuck under. So just pretty much slide those in. Next we're going to take the Allens that were supplied, these bolts with washers, and we're actually going to put them right under here. There's a little patch that you can peel up here. There we go. And you'll be able to see there's one, and then the other one is actually directly next to it. So those two are going to screw in. Now they say it might be easier if you cut it a little down just so you can fit it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of squeeze it in and have it snug. I don't want to really tighten it all the way yet. Definitely would be easier to kind of cut it down a little just so you can get into it. Last one. So the biggest thing is to make sure that it's all lined up. This one at first, it wanted to really hug this left side of the vehicle and not really get too bad to the right. You basically, how you would do it, just kind of set it where you need it to be, and then we can go down and start tightening every bolt. See, now it actually doesn't really have a problem on either side. Actually works pretty well. Doesn't really rub. At first, like I said, I had to kind of push this down, but if you just reposition it better, then tighten down the bolts, you're good to go. So that's what I'm going to do now. So they're good. So now this guy will flip up. It actually goes all the way back. That's pretty nice. Now this next part, you're going to be utilizing these two brackets that came with it. In order to do that, we are actually going to be taking this piece out here. That way you kind of have your open bucket. Everything's going to go into this spot here. So here you got to pay attention a little bit better. This first is going to be the piece that goes in. You're going to have the two notches on either side, which are actually going to squeeze in between the back two portions, and then this lock portion is going to be up. So we'll slide it in through here, and then your second bracket, you can see the indentation, and line up the holes as well, and just slide it literally right on top, just like that. So next, we're going to get in our bolts bag. You'll use the bolt washer and then of course the nylon nut to lock it in, and that will go on to the bottom pieces here. The size you're going to need for this is actually, with a basic tool set you'll get, is a 1/2 inch. You're going to need your socket, ratchet. You could use a regular wrench and wrench, but that's going to take a little bit longer. And of course, make it easier, use this to get kind of up in underneath there. as you can see, it's pretty secure. It's a pretty neat design that they actually came out with. So it's pretty much ready to go. That's really easy install actually. You can close that guy. As you can see, I think initially you have to really push down on it to get it to go. Yeah, there's a little popping, and then it'll let you turn and operate it. So if we just lay it flush, I'll just push it in. Actually pretty good. And I can really jerk up on this. Overall, it's a good deterrent, it looks like. Opens real easy. I like how they added this little rubber piece here at the top so it doesn't scratch anything. It actually is nice and cushioned. So I'd say overall I'm pretty satisfied with it. It works really well. Obviously not gonna be indestructible. And the only thing that I don't like is that you can't put back that OEM fitment that was in there, which I'll show you right here. So this guy here, that's one thing that I actually really liked having in there. All you can see is just pretty much the tub of it is left. So I'll probably make some modifications to that to get it where I can fit that in there, because I personally like that. The look better, and also it has that cushion in there. You could, if you wanted, try to pad that up yourself, make it look a little bit better. I personally just would rather make a couple cuts, put that back in there, and it work perfect with it. So that's actually what I'm going to do now. Alright, there we go. Gosh, this is awful. How I'm going to modify this is pretty much, I'm going to mark it with some paint. Sorry that my face keeps getting white. If you have another way of doing this, please go ahead and do that. I'm just using this because I had it spare laying around. But I'll just push it down in there. You definitely want to get it as close to how it's going to be in there as possible, and then just push it right on top. When you pull it out, there's your little marker. What I'm going to do is pretty much cut out an indentation right there, a big enough gap to where I can just slide it right on over. Do know that if you're going to try and do the same thing that I'm doing, it does hit right here also on this side piece. So I'm pretty much just going to use my angle grinder. Yeah, this says for metal, but it's going to cut plastic like it's nothing. So I'm drilling holes first to mark either end. This sticks out too much for my angle grinder to really get in there, so I'll drill it to mark the two spots, and basically I'll just cut a depth that's going to be long enough between them to fit it in there. Alright, now we've got our two spots, so you can see drilled here and there, and then we'll just make a cut right there. So pretty much you see made an opening. You can just peel that off after it cools, of course. Usually it'll just flick right off. Alright, so now to see how off we are. So the main issue we might have is this right here, being able to come and close, and then of course right in there it's still hitting into it. We're right where we need to be on our cut. So I've kind of gone over and cut this out right here pretty well, and now I just need to trim this so I can get it forward more. Hopefully this will fit in pretty good after I make those changes. So, as you can see, it's not the best cutout. Like I said, I don't have my Dremel with me right now. So this could have been smoother. I definitely recommend using one to do it. But you want to cut out this section here pretty much. And then for that piece that hits on the side, I just tried to cut out long enough for those bolts, and then of course the slat that's on it too. But let's see if this works now. Okay. It's a bit raised up because of the piece of metal on it, and that's why it's not going to flushly seize. Moment of truth. It still sits up a little. Oh, there we go. All right, so it actually, wow, it is nice and solid in there now too. All right, see if it opens up easy. Kind of got to give a little push to get it open. Oh, but it works, so I don't know. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. You don't have to really put a lot of weight on it. You can try and open it that way, but you still need to kind of put a little weight on it to do that. I don't know, I'll probably mess with it just a little bit more. So I ended up modifying it a little bit more just because I kept being unsatisfied with it. You did have to push it down a little bit harder. I did not like that. Let me show you kind of where I ended and how much better I made it. Somebody can do this even better than I have. This is kind of a sloppy job, but I was working with what I have. So as you see, I had to make the cut here and then along here to get it flush. And then right where this piece here sticks out, I had to make a cut right there so that this bottom piece could just kind of slide under it. That way that this main portion here was able to be tucked under because that stuck up too much. And then right here, I'm sure if I wanted to, I could trim just a little bit more back and it would sit just a little bit more flush. But either way, you're still going to have to, if you want to have this piece in there, you're still going to have to push down just a little bit, and I'll show you. But it's way better than how I first had it. So pretty much push it in, and you can probably even do this with one hand. Boom, see? So in there, I can unlock it with one hand. So boom. Overall, like I said, pretty satisfied with this. Definitely put down in the comments below if you had a different way that you were able to keep that OEM piece in there. It works really well. It actually, now having that in there, it's actually a little bit more snug too, so I feel like that's probably going to eliminate any kind of rattle that might happen. I'm definitely satisfied. Like, subscribe if you like the video. I will be posting more stuff along with just other types of Jeep parts being installed.